Hello and welcome to the video. It's Gordon here of G17 Collectibles. This is a continuation of the Fanhome Build Your Own Robocop, and this is issues 47, 48, 49 and 50. And 47, 48, 49 and 50 are all about Robocop's pelvis. Every single one is about his pelvis. How you can stretch 4 magazines to just build a simple pelvis is beyond me, because we built some of it in the issue before 46. So that's about 5 or 6 magazines that concentrate solely on Robocop's pelvis. It must be one of the best pelvises known to man. Anyway, so here's the magazines, 4 magazines. In this month's delivery we also got the second parts for the premium base. You can see here, this is the premium base here. So it's a massive big OCP logo. And up the back then we get a rod that goes right up Robocop's arse to hold him upright. This is a light up base. How good or bad it is, I don't know. I have seen some of the parts already and they're pretty plasticky. So yeah, it is what it is. We're not going to get a full premium materials here. It's all going to be a bit of moulded plastic, and so far as we know, there are metal components and die cast parts on Robocop, but there's quite a lot of plastic as well. So it's disappointing, but if you want to win 3rd scale Robocop and build it yourself, you have no choice just to follow what they give you. So I'm going to ignore the premium base assembly guide at the moment. We'll be building that once I've got all the components and all the parts to do so. We are going to focus on issues 47 to 50. Let's take a look at the parts that we've got first. So here are the parts for 47. Nice big heavy long pole, and then some bits at the back here which looks like a hip or pelvis joint. We also have 48. 48 is lots of little metal parts and screws and caps. We have 49, which is a couple of springs and another continuation of that metal part. And then 50 is a nice big black piece, another rod for holding Robocop up. And that's it. That's what £65 gets you this month. £65. £11 an issue, plus your shipping. So you're looking at £12, £13 per issue, and that's what you get. That's what you get, friends, for £12. Absolutely wicked. I've said before, you can't focus on what you get per issue. You've got to look at the whole thing start to finish. But this build could well have been done within 50 issues. They've strung it out. Anyway, 47, let's have a look at 47. 47 is the pelvis. So we'll get these parts here. Let's get this opened up. So we've got this big heavy metal rod. We'll get these parts. Okay, so that's what we've got. So to begin with, we need this macaroni looking piece, and we need to put the hex nut in the middle there. So let's get these 2 wee bits out. And we'll slot the hex nut in. I don't think there's a way it goes in, so we'll just put it in any old way at all, and I'll probably find out there is a way to put it in, because I've not read the instructions, Gordon. And then we take this component with a couple of screws. UMs are absolutely teeny weeny screws, very, very small, as you can see there. And we need to put this bracket on to here to hold that hex nut in place. I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit on the fiddly side. So, in there like that. Another one there. Hopefully I'm not too far away from the camera and you can actually see what I'm doing. But these are pretty microscopic screws. So metal into metal, so we can give them a good tighten. There we go, that's in there, no problem. And then we take the pelvis part that we built last time, which is here. I don't think I showed you this wonderful pelvis the last time we spoke. This is it. This is what all the fuss is about. So you've got a spring in there, you've got this component, and this screw goes in through the back. So I believe what we have to do now is take this part, line it up with the gear. So how is this going in? It's going in something like that. And then when we flip it over, we can then put this threaded bolt through. And then hopefully catch the nut and tighten. There we are, put the threaded bolt through there. You can see the bolts caught the nut and came through this side. Now I'm imagining this part needs to move, so let's read the instructions in a minute. Connect the left hip to the ridged face of the left hip washer. The protruding end of the left hip screw is inserted into the hole at the hip left, and the pins on match the recesses in the washer. So that looks right to me. Connect the flat face of the left hip to the flat face of the left hip ball joint. Okay, so we're taking the left leg, and it looks like we are connecting Robocop's magical pelvis like this. I am convinced though that that's in the right position. I don't think it really tells you what position it needs to go in. We'll leave it there now, we can always adjust it. Right, so what we're doing here, we're taking the two CM screws. I think by the end of these magazines today, I'm going to have a pair of legs that I can display, joined at the hip with the pelvis. So let me get a wee screw on the end of my wonderfully high quality screwdriver that was provided to me from Fanhome. Which actually isn't too bad, it's a wee Christmas cracker screwdriver as I would think of it. It does the job. I was using my own specialised one, but then that one broke. So I do like quality tools, but I don't like quality tools when they break. And this, being a Christmas cracker screwdriver, has actually seen us through almost 50 issues so far. So actually, as much as I'm taking the mickey, you can't really fault it because it's lasted. Okay, done that. So I think that's us. We now have the wonderful pelvis connected to the left leg. Let's close that issue up. Carefully put that leg down, I don't want to damage it. Rid of all these screws. Let's move now to issue, is it 50 next? No, I've got 48. There we go. So here is 48. Let's see, where did I put my issues here? So 48, more pelvis work. We have all these parts here, so we're going to have to put these together, put a few caps on, and then that's going to allow us to put that on the back. That must be how Robocop's torso is going to connect to the pelvis. Okay, so let's get the bits out, move that magazine out there first. There we go. And I'll move the left leg out the road just now. Bring the magazine back in. Okay, so we have to take this component here, which is 48B, the lower lumbar joint support 1, okay, and use 48D, which is the lower lumbar joint friction block 1. God, they come up with some names for these, don't they? Oh, it's a lower lumbar joint friction block, rather than just saying it's a wee black cap, the larger black cap of the two. And we're going to put that in there. Then we're going to take the smaller one, which is funnily enough called lower lumbar joint friction block 2. I mean, look, it's a wee black cap. And we're going to stick that in there. Then we're going to take this part. What do they call this part? It's the lower lumbar joint. It's basically a ball, a metal ball with a metal kind of like angled piece on it. And we're going to stick that in there like that. And we're going to take this bit, which is called, wait for it, the lower lumbar joint support 2. And I think we're going to place that over the top like this. Okay, so let's try. That doesn't look right to me. That looks right. I had it upside down. Or did I? Let's roll on to the next page, see. I think maybe I've just jumped ahead of myself there, but yeah. So we'll put this cap on top of this assembly. That's kind of lining up fine. So we need our AM screws now. And we'll take an AM screw. Just check I'm still recording. I am. And we'll put the AM screws into these corners and start to tighten this bad boy up. So one in that corner. One in that corner. One in that corner. And one in this corner. Make sure these are relatively tight. If I need to loosen them, I can loosen them. But if this is the thing that's the lumbar support, the crucial lumbar support onto the pelvis, I don't want it being floppy. Nobody wants a floppy lumbar support, don't they not? That would just be disastrous. So keep tightening, keep tightening. It is plastic into plastic, so I don't want to tighten too much. It can't really go very far. It's literally just like that amount of movement, just because of the way that's shaped. Anyway, right, now we have to take our pelvis back. And we have to attach this little thing. There's a particular way it goes. I think it goes on there, like that. And we have to take 2 FM screws. Well, I don't have FM screws, I've got EM screws. So have they cocked up and gave me the wrong screws? Well, that would just be fabulous, wouldn't it? Another stop in the build. I don't think I've got any. I've never heard of FMs before. Let me see if an EM is going to fit. EM seems to be okay, but I think they've cocked that up, because that definitely says EM and that says FM. So, I mean, they must be pretty close in thread diameter, but we are getting into plastic, so I don't want to push it too hard in case I break it. But let's see if I can get these in. Yep, we're actually alright. So that's okay. I feel as if it's a wee bit of a hack job, but there we go. Right, let's clear them screws out the way. Let's have a look at the next issue, which is 49. 49. Oh, what a surprise, more pelvis. Right, there's the parts for 49. Let's get these out. Looks very similar to 47. I wonder if we're doing the other side for the right leg. And I can tell the wife, look, I've got a pair of Robocop legs on display. Right, so let's take some of these pieces out. Let's get ourselves a bit more prepared so I don't have to open bags one-handed. I've got CM screws and UM screws. Good, they've managed to give me the correct screws. That's always a winner. So I'll put my UM screws there. I'll put my CM screws here. So that's my CMs. Now I have to take the macaroni piece. What do they call the macaroni piece? The right hip. Oh, that's a right hip seemingly. We're going to put the little bolt in, or the little nut, sorry, in there. We're going to take this little fantastic black bracket and we're going to take 2 UM screws, which are the teeny wee microscopic screws you can hardly see. And we're going to try, first time, yes, to put that in there. And then put the other one in the other side. There we go. Wonderful. Tight. Then it says, take this long bolt, take your legs back, and put your long bolt through here. And then hold that and put your black spring over the top. Now move your leg with one hand whilst holding the bolt and the spring. Turn the page, bring your leg back over. Now put your wee silver gear in. And your wee silver gear, there's a notch there and a wee key in there, so you can just put that straight over the top. And then you take the hip joint, and we'll try and match the hip joint up. So you see there's 2 wee pins in that hip joint, and there's 2 grooves in there. So let's try and match that up. I've got a feeling that Robocop's going to end up very spread eagle here. And then we can start tightening the back of that screw into the nut. I've got a feeling I have made this too tight because there's just going to be there's no rotation in these. So once I've got the other leg on, I'm going to adjust these and I'm going to make sure he's got some rotation in his legs because I don't really want his legs being like that. Right, then we can take the right leg and bring the right leg over. Woohoo! Look at that angle. And then we can, in fact that's ridiculous. I'm going to have to loosen that a bit. Right, so that's better. Then we're going to take this across and connect this up using these CM screws. So that is almost 1 knot tightened up. Completely missed the mark there. What went on there? Why was that not catching? I think that's it now. I thought I was tightening that. It was going round and round and round and round and round, and it didn't actually catch the bottom of the other macaroni piece. Right. So they are pretty tight now. So Robocop's legs are now completely onto the pelvis. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosen off this one. So we've got some rocking hips. I don't know if you can see that, but look at those hips. The Shakira said those hips don't lie. Yes! We now have some rocking hips and I can see Robocop's arse. Good. So that is that magazine. We've now connected the legs together to his magical pelvis. Let's close up this magazine and let's get to the next magazine. And we'll have a look and see what other things we can do for this delivery. Okay, so we've got another part here, and they call this the front part of the pelvis. Pretty self-explanatory. The front part of the pelvis. And we're going to screw, believe it or not, the front part of the pelvis to the front of the pelvis. Now that's a set of instructions I can definitely get behind. Let's open this up. I'm going to leave this in because this is the rod or the bar that connects to the big base that allows Robocop to stand up. I don't think I want to do anything with that just now. I think I'm going to leave these bars out because the bar will literally just sit in the box at the moment. Oh, hello there. Oh, they're Android girls. So I don't see the point in unpackaging it and then losing track of the number. So for example, this is number 50. If I leave it in the package, I know it's number 50 and I can come back to it. Okay, so we've got the front part of the pelvis. I'm missing some screws, which are in, I think. Which ones do I need? EMs. Right, okay, so I need to get the screws out of here. Let me surgically try and open this. Find the EM screws. Yep, located. Let's get the screws opened up. Make sure I'm still recording. Hopefully. Got some EM screws here. Pull this back over. Now it says, go away. It says here that we need to take the front part of the pelvis and put that over the front here. Line it up. 1, 2, 3 screws. Okay. So let me see if I can get the first screw in. To the middle one. Right. And then let me see if I can get these two in here. this shouldn't impact me loosening and tightening these hip joints, because those screws are on the back of this assembly. Right, and there we have Robocop's Tallywhacker. That's pretty good. So there we go, we have Robocop's pelvis. And a couple of legs that I can now stand up. Smashing. Okay, that marks the end. I'll do this a bit later on a build, but that marks the end of this month's deliveries. That was magazines 47, 48, 49 and 50. How very exciting. Okay, thanks for joining us. I am going to move on now and complete the next delivery, which is 51, 52, 53 and 54. Before I do, forgot. Let me clear that out of the way. Let me clear this out of the way. This is the parts of that base that we got this month. This is number 2. And in number 2 it looks like we've got that central pot where the batteries may go. So the battery compartment may fit in. And a circuit board. So I'm not opening that as yet. That'll be left until I've got all the parts. But yeah, so there we are. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you did enjoy that. If not, don't watch anymore. Yeah, and I shall see you on the next video. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.